What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is the Ready to Love season 6, I guess. I don't even know anymore. They don't know anymore. Episode 4. So it's a women's elimination week. So of course Tommy meets with the guys at the beginning, and he lets them know I have 2 more blind dates set up for this week. But this is the last week of the blind dates. Okay, so this is it. This is all. And he tells Wiley, he says, listen, a lot of the ladies are a little cautious because of your age. And I don't think it's just because he's young. I think he has a young spirit. And it's not a bad, he doesn't come off as immature, right? At least not from what I've seen. He just has a young spirit. And I think, again, like I was telling somebody the other day, they're young. And I said, I said, look, I'm an old lady. I said, y'all be pre-gaming at 11 o'clock to get ready to go to the club, and I am on my way home to get in my pajamas from dinner with my girlfriends. Okay, it's just different. It's just a different energy. So he said that he's gonna set Wiley up on a blind date with somebody closer to his age. Then we have the other blind date is with Precious and the new guy. So Wiley meets up with Chris. I believe her name is Christina. I wrote some notes down. And we found out from Christina that Tina, she's 31. She's an esthetician. Her last relationship was very toxic. I believe she said it was abusive, and they broke up when she was 6 months pregnant with her daughter. She has not been in a relationship since then. Her daughter is 2. So it's been about 2.5 years since she's been in a relationship. And she ready. Wiley meets up with her, and he thinks she's beautiful, and she is. She's very beautiful. They both have on green, so of course that was sort of a, oh, look at us. He was like, you got on my color. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Both of these blind dates just were a little boring to me. So I didn't really get a whole lot from the blind dates, other than the fact that Wiley does find Tina attractive. He's interested, and I think he feel like he back in the game, right? That's what I'm picking up on this, okay? Now, on the other side, we have Miss Precious meeting up with Donovan. Now, we find out Donovan is originally from LA. He's in his 40s, and he is one of them imaginary jobs they be making up, child. I don't know. He was married for 12 years, and so immediately that sort of gave Precious a little bit of, whoa, wait a minute, like, that's a long time. So she kind of asked him, what happened? And he said, I made some mistakes, but I'm mature now, and I know what I want, and I'm ready to. So what that translates, ladies, is I was a hoe. Okay, I cheated on my wife, and I was a hoe. But I'm not a hoe no more. I'm a reformed hoe, and I'm ready to settle down and find the right woman. Right? That's what that says to me. Now, I could be wrong, but that is what it translates to me. I made some mistakes. Was her name Stacy? Was that mistake named Sheila? Was her name Carol? Okay. Made some mistakes. Anyway, so as they're on this date, I'm on Precious and Donovan. She's very flirty with Mr. Donovan. And then it gets weird and sexual. She lets him know that she's been celibate for 6 months, and so she is ready to pop. She's talking about the sexual tension between the two of them and the sexual energy. And she was like, I don't know if he's putting down what I'm picking up. I mean, if he's picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to let him know that that it's me and him, that I'm trying to be flirty with him. Listen, this is going to sound old-fashioned, and y'all are more than welcome to leave in my comments that you disagree with me. That's fine. I'm just one of those people. Call me old-fashioned. Call me what you want. The old adage is true. Men want a lady in the streets and a freak in the bed. It is okay, and it is absolutely important to have the conversation about sex and sexuality. We need to find out if we are compatible sexually. That is absolutely an important conversation to have, and I will never, ever act like it's not. But here's the problem from where I sit. when you lead with sex, that is what men tend to see you as. That does not mean that there aren't successful relationships that start off as one night stands. I have friends who have done that. They've slept with somebody on the first date. They married 20 years later. It happens. I'm not saying it can't happen. But what I'm going to say is more times than not, when that is all you lead with and that's all you give to a man, that is what they tend to see you as. And they'll sleep with you all day long. They're going to entertain the sexual gratification of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they see you as their wife. I feel like, and it also can be a little intimidating. Now, let's be clear. There's a thin line, because I think on the other side, women absolutely have a right to express their sexuality and be who they are in that area. So it's a thin line, y'all. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to put women back in the 1950s, because I'm not. But I also feel like, and this is just my opinion, I also feel like there's a thin line there between telling a man on the first encounter, yeah, I just want to throw you down on the ground and just give it to you good. Boom, boom, boom. Versus the art. There's an art to subtle flirting. You can say the same thing and you can convey the same message in a way that does not come off as something else. Now, that's just me. Let me move past my little soapbox and let me keep it going. Then we have a date with Joy and Laverne. Now, again, a lot of sexual tension there. They went on, I like to call it the Ghost experience. If y'all remember the movie Ghost, back in the day, Whoopi Goldberg won the Oscar award for it, starring Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Okay, if y'all remember with the whole scene with the pottery, and they were playing the Isley. I mean, not the Isley, Lord. Was it not the Isley brothers? With them other boys, the Everly brothers, put it in the comments. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'll start with an E. Righteous Brothers. I don't know where I got the E from. The Righteous Brothers, in the background. It was all very sexual, very sensual, and it's probably one of the most famous, non-love scenes of the 80s movie cinema, 80s, 90s, I'm not sure the year. So it was giving me that vibe. It was very sexual, right? But not in a slap it upside your face kind of way. I mean, they made some sexual jokes and things of that nature, but it was flirty and it was fun. Also, we know that this is not their first encounter with each other, and that's sort of the banter that they have. Joy asked Laverne, she said, well, tell me something that I don't already know. Like, tell me something that you haven't. I don't think she was asking for like his deep dark secrets. I think she was saying, like, in this process, tell me something you haven't shared with other people, and that evolved into a really good conversation about, he sort of shared with us that he didn't have like committed type boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. And again, I'm reading between the lines, and it sounds like he had a whole lot of situationships and friends with benefit situations, and he was looking for more. He was looking to settle down. They ultimately seemed like they had a really good date, and both of them said that it's easy breezy. But Joy had already said last week that she doesn't really see Laverne in that capacity. But again, I'm going to repeat what I said last week about how I respect the fact that even though I think Joy has pretty much decided that she wants it to be Carlton, or at least that's what it seemed like, I can appreciate that she's still going through the process and she's allowing herself to go through the process and meet these other men and have dates with these other men. AD and Demetrius went on a date. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Last week, after Demetrius seemed like he was more interested in the history of the, Washington Monument than he was in that bus full of women that he was supposed to be trying to date, I felt like Demetrius just didn't click with any of the other ladies. And honestly, that's how I still feel. He wanted to go out on a date with AD because she's the new girl on the block, to get to know her better, to see if he had a connection with her, because I feel like he's not really connected to, not in that way with the other ladies. I think he likes some of the other ladies. I think him and Sabrina Sort of have a little something. I think we find out later on, but it's there doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency there for me from his point of view. So they talk and they have a good date, but at the end he says, "Listen, she's a really nice, person, but I there's really no spark there." So I don't know. I think Sabrina's going to end up being Demetrius's number one by default. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That's the vibe I'm getting off of this whole season. For the exception of Joy and Carlton, I mean Clifton. I've been calling him Carlton, Clifton. For the exception of Joy and Clifton, I am not seeing any connections. Now we have Eric and Dakaya, and I think we'll explore that a little bit more. But again, remember he just came on last week. Haven't really had a lot of time to see how that continues to evolve, but I'm not really feeling any great connections, y'all. And so anyway, so after that date, we see the guys are down at the beach house. It's a guy's day out. I think they might have thought they were on some sort of retreat type situation. I don't know if they thought the ladies were coming or not. I'm a little confused about that part, about whether they thought the ladies were coming and that they were just going to be there by themselves, or they knew the ladies were coming but they were coming later and that they were going to have a guy's day during the day. I'm not really quite sure, and I'm going to explain why that's kind of where my confusion is in a minute. But the guys are talking, and I'm going to be honest, there was a really good conversation that the guys had down by the water where they were talking about like love and what they did in the past, that where they made their mistakes and did they learn from those mistakes, and what it was that they wanted to see and how they were going about things differently, and basically they all agreed that it's more than just sex. I mean, sex is important, and listen, we're all adults, and let's not sit here and pretend like it's not to any of us. Sex is important to us, but they've figured out that it's not the end all be all, and they're looking for a deeper connection, especially Demetrius. He mentioned that. So while they're sitting there talking, Tommy rolls up on a sailboat. Listen. There are a couple of things in this scene that I got questions. The first question I have is, why is everybody else in bathing suits and Tommy is in a turtleneck? My second question is, they have a live band there playing music with a go-go beat to it, because I don't know if it's a go-go band per se. I don't feel like it is, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to say it isn't. I don't know what that dance was that Tommy did coming in the door. I'm not sure what that was. Okay. I don't know if somebody told Tommy that is how you dance to go-go music, but Tommy, if someone gave you that information, sir, I hate to be the one to tell you, but they set you up. They set you up. That is not how we dance to go-go music, okay? And it looked like he was getting ready to give us a good old Kappa step, 1, 2, and then he decided, oh, no, I don't really want to do that. So and then it was like in mid-move, he had to switch it to something else. That's what it looked like happened, but neither here nor there. He had fun with it. It is what it is. I love you though, Tommy. Hey, love you though. So Tommy welcomes the guys there, and all that good stuff. And then we found out that the ladies are there. And like I said, I'm not sure if that was the plan all along, that the ladies would come in the afternoon while the guys were there early on, kind of doing a guy thing. I feel like that might have been what it was, but I'm not sure. So Tommy lets them know, listen, we here, hanging out. He said, my beach house. You know that ain't your beach house. First of all, that ain't the beach. You got a house on the water. It's not the beach. Second of all, it ain't yours. It's Airbnb's. But he said that at the end of the night, somebody going home. So they're going to do the female elimination there that night rather than, go back and have, deliberations. So Eric shows up, he done went shopping and he cooking for everybody. And he said, listen, I'm in the kitchen and this is my happy place, right? I'm enjoying myself and this is my happy place. So Dakaya goes to go talk to Eric, And Eric is letting her know, listen, you are me, I am you, it is us, we are together. I am claiming you, I am putting my foot down, putting my stakes down. I listen, my plan is to woo you until you realize that you have been wooed. And he was kind of like, so I mean, she was like, "Oh, that's what it is. So that's what we doing. It's me and you." Like, "Oh, okay, that's what it's like." And then here come Miss Carmen. Now, come to find out, Carmen has known Eric, and they've flirted. This what listen. Sometimes you gotta read between the lines. What I read between the lines is that they have flirted in the past, but they have not gone there, and so now he's going to use this as an opportunity to go there. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not all that convinced that they never went there. I'm convinced that it never turned into no relationship. She said that. I mean, he said that he has worked for Carmen in the past. So I feel like it has always been sort of like a boss, you hired me type relationship. Um, Here's my problem with Carmen. Carmen is one of those people that feel like she got to put somebody else down to put herself up. I have absolutely no problem with Carmen being confident in who she is and standing firm in that. I respect that. But you don't have to put other people down to do it. And so she came in there and she was, to me, a little rude to Dakaya. You know, Dakaya was there talking and having a good time. And again, I know we got to move around and we have to explore and all that good stuff. But at the same time, to me, in my opinion, there's a way to do it without it coming off rude. And I feel like Carmen was rude. And then after Dakaya left, Carmen was like, well, you know, I'm your number one, and you better let him know that who I am. And I feel like he was just saying what she wanted to hear, so she went and like act a fool because the way she was coming off was just so. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot, y'all. It was a lot. So, then we have Paul, P.O., Papa. So then we have, like I said, we have Papa and Tina. And they're talking, and Tina is like, listen, I have always dated older guys, and I feel like that was her way of shooting her shot at Paul, letting him know, listen, I like him older. If you can work with a 34-year-old, I can work with the however old Papa is. And I said, dang, because Tommy specifically said, Wiley, we wouldn't find somebody your age, but she don't even like dating men your age. Damn, that's messed up. We saw Dakaya talking to Donovan. They seemed to have a good conversation. Had like a good little vibe going, because Donovan was definitely not really feeling Miss Precious. So then we saw Precious talking to Paul, and she was being real aggressive and real sexual, and it was kind of turning him off. And I feel like Precious was a little intoxicated too. I'm gonna be fair. I feel like some of that was fueled by the liquid bravery, the liquid, courage situation. Then we had Precious talking to Demetrius, and it was the same thing. A little aggressive, a little off-putting. You know, she felt a little like, damn, like what's really going on? Then we had Precious and Cornelius. Clifton. Now, Clifton didn't seem to have a problem with it, but again, we know Clifton really ain't thinking about Precious. Clifton really has Joy, and then we found out a little later on that he's sort of feeling, not the Kaya. Is it Sabrina? Carmen. He was starting to feel Carmen a little bit. So we see again, just like with every season, we don't see everything. And I understand that there's absolutely no way we can see everything. We can't see every day, right? So we see Tori talking to Sabrina. Now, Tori, this is why I said I needed to know whether they knew that these women were coming or not, because Tori got some cupcakes. Now, he got a 4-pack of cupcakes, but there's only 2 cupcakes in the box. And I feel like what really had happened with Tori was that he had bought those cupcakes the night before because he had himself a little sweet tooth. And he ate 2 of them the night before while he was watching some Netflix and chill, laid up on the couch. And he put them in his bag for today because he knew he had a whole day of filming. And he bought it just in case he got himself some munchies along the way. And he wanted to finish up that damn 4-pack. But then when the lady showed up and Sabrina was there, he was like, oh, I got something for you. And he gave Sabrina them last 2 cupcakes that was left. Now, I don't know if that's how it went down for real, but in my head, that's exactly what happened. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Then we saw Sabrina talking to Demetrius. And again, they seem to have had a good conversation, a good little connection, a little something, something. So Tommy comes through, and it is time for them to have their deliberations and for them to figure out the who's the who and the what's what and how everybody feeling about everybody else. And they all have their, so the people who are on the top, we have Dakaya is on top, Joy, Sabrina. Nobody really said a whole lot about Ace. The other thing they said was that Laverne seemed like he was sort of checked out of the process that day. Now listen, that could be a variety of reasons why Laverne wasn't really there that day. We even saw Demetrius talking to him, asking him what's going on, how he feeling, because he didn't seem to be himself. And he said he was fine. Now, a lot of times things are going on and we find out after the fact. Like, for example, Ron from 2 seasons ago when they were in Houston, he mentioned how he had a death of a really close friend of his, but he still had to show up for filming. And so we don't always know what's going on. I think maybe Laverne had something else on his mind and he wasn't fully in the process, because we've always seen Laverne be very personable and be very in there. And at an event like this, like, I'm surprised he wasn't running around asking all the ladies to squeeze his booty, right? I mean, he had on swim trucks, you know, they were right there. The other thing is, it was a female elimination week, and maybe he felt like he ain't had to try that hard. That he could just sit back, observe, and see what was going on, and the who's the who and the what's what. I don't know. Would his energy been different if it were a female elimination week? Maybe. Maybe. Depending on why he was acting a little off-putting, right? A little standoffish. Depending on why. So, then we have, like I said, they're talking to Tommy. So, like I said, Ace and Laverne seem to have a connection, but we didn't really hear a lot about Ace this week. But she wasn't on the bottom. She wasn't in anybody's bottom. The names that came up in the bottom were AD and Precious. And neither one of those names are a surprise. And so they told, Tommy told them, listen, y'all need to, again, like he always gives them the speech, you need to do it nicely with grace. And, he said, but somebody's got to give the speech. And Paul was like, ain't gonna be me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And they realized, oh, we doing this now? Like tonight? Like we're not even gonna go back and do it tomorrow? Like we go, and Tommy was like, oh yeah, it's about to go down now. Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we see, I believe it was Demetrius probably drew the short straw. And he called Precious and he called AD down. And he starts giving them the whole speech, and that's where it cuts off, child. They done gave us a whole cliffhanger. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments.